Yes, guys, how you doing? Welcome back to Football Inc. I hope you're all happy and healthy doing the things you love and those you love to do them with. Smash that nanny. Smash the like button. Drum the thumb, people. We are ready to talk all things football tonight. There's a little, obviously, we're going to maybe hash over for those of you that have come across from the other one, from Spurs Talk Show. Please bear with us, but we are going to be talking. We'll do the Tottenham thing later on in the show. Let's get through some other things first. Johnny, how are you? Actually, before I ask you that, guys, quick, do some admin. Please smash the like button. Please smash the subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell. Drop the comments thick and fast. Let us know your thoughts. If you want to get the super sticker train going, you know we will drop off at every station and pick you up along the way as we are looking through what is going on. Also, if you're listening on audio, then please do hit the 5-star rating and make sure you follow us on Spotify and Apple as well. Just before we come out of the traps, Blaine Devlin's doing his thing. He loves to do it, and we love you for it, Blaine. 5 Football Inc. memberships have been gifted. Absolute legend, Blaine. You're such a generous man. So very generous. Johnny, how are you, buddy?
Oh, what 48 hours, huh? Exhausting, enjoyable, emotional, up, down, up. You know, listen, the support we've had on here has been absolutely incredible, right? I mean, just to say thank you very much. We had nearly 10,000 views on this morning's stream. Incredible numbers for a tiny little channel like ours. When we've just hit 3,000 subscribers as well. But the viewing time was incredible. I think at one stage we had over 1,600 people, and we couldn't have done it without you. Yes, the news is drawing you in, but I wanted to thank you. It's been a crazy time. It's a crazy time if you're a Spurs fan, if you're a Forest fan, if you're a Man United fan, if you're an Arsenal fan. The emotions are absolutely flowing backwards and forwards at the moment. Arsenal are in meltdown. They're spraying graffiti all over Arteta's murals and the Arsenal murals in the tunnel on the way to the stadium. Man United fans still can't believe they're being linked to Dominic Calvert-Lewin and they can't sell a player. Spurs, elation and kicked in the teeth when Morgan's Gibbs-White deal looks like it's going a bit awry, but I think that will still have legs. Forest fans in meltdown, the fact that Morgan's Gibbs-White is being sold along with Anthony Elanga. The owner saying he's furious that someone could have put such a thing in a contract that they wrote and signed.
The man is just an angry, like, I don't say this without sounding without sounding rude. I lived in America, right? I lived in America for a few years, and I absolutely fell in love with the with the girls, like the Latino women. They're absolutely sensational, sexy as hell. But they're the sort of crazy hot scale, Richter scale thing whereby you might go to sleep with one of them and you'd wake up with a pair of scissors wrapped around your japsy because they've had a dream that you cheated on them. Right? Absolute batshit nuts, but awesome at the same time. And I feel like to a little degree, Greek people are the European versions of Latin America in that part of the world. Awesome people, amazing personalities, a little bit fiery though, very, very fiery. And I think that this guy Marinakis is a fiery man. And it kind of, I kind of enjoy. I can imagine just him sitting there being absolutely furious. It's a beautiful thing to see, Johnny. It's a beautiful thing to see. I do want to talk to you about that one quickly, but before we get into it, because it's not just about Morgan Gibbs-White, but also Elanga's deal has been done as well. We got James McAtee that might be the replacement for Gibbs-White if that deal does go ahead. Loads of things to talk about. Just quickly though, the super sticker train has started. I just want to quickly say, I didn't get enough chance to say them, but you are an absolute legend of the community, mate. Not a single person who knows you I've met to anything other than you're just an absolute sweetheart of a guy. Super generous. Thank you very much. If you are the recipient of one of his memberships, please do say thank you. He's a legend. And get over to Super Spurs TV as well. Thank you very much, mate. And Roy, here comes the train. The train is stopping off. We're going to Norway first. We're over in Roy Viking Town. I'm picking up Helga.
Whereabouts in Norway? Whereabouts are you in Norway, Roy? Just let us know,
Roy. Let us know, mate. And let us know when you're coming over to Tottenham, mate. I'll buy you a beer. Thank you very much. Tomo's THFC has come in with a super sticker. I think he became a member a second ago on on the Spurs Talk Show. Very generous. Thank you very much, Thomas. Appreciate you, buddy. I know that you sound like you're from somewhere maybe not also in the UK, so let us know where you're from. In fact, everybody, let us know where you're from and who you support. Big Country Chris is coming involved with the Super Sticker train, as is Code Shush and El Dente. Thank you so much, guys. We love the train. The train is sensational. I've got to ask you though, Johnny, Nottingham Forest, James McAtee, is he a decent enough replacement for Morgan Gibbs-White?
I think if you watch the England under-21s, look, you could probably form a whole team of players that Manchester City have let go. If you look at Douglas Luiz, ex-Manchester City, Palmer, Morgan Rogers, Delap, I think you can make Pedro Porro. The list of players that have come out of Manchester City that they've let go, that have gone on to have fantastic careers. There's a lot more of those out there to come back. And I think James McAtee is going to be one of them. As I said, very good performance in the England under-21s, that victorious team. Whether he can replicate Morgan Gibbs-White, Gibbs-White's got, 3 years on him. So there's plenty of time and room for improvement. I wouldn't have said no to James McAtee at Spurs if I'm honest. But I think we needed more ready-made, oven-ready players. But this business with Marinakis is laughable. This is a guy who was so sure that his team was going to qualify for the Champions League. He took himself off the register, because of his confliction with his ownership of Olympiacos, only to see straight after he did that, Nottingham Forest went down, and then you saw him running onto the pitch, remonstrating with Nuno. Now, some would say it was because of Iwanyi colliding with the post, and he felt that shouldn't have happened. I don't believe that's the case. I believe it's the case that he saw his dream of Champions League going to dust after he'd gone to all the effort of changing his ownership. In which case, I actually would have loved it had they qualified, and I'll tell you why. Because just the same as John Textor, Marinakis did exactly the same. He was still
100%.
He was still registered as the owner in April. And in May, right? In April, should I say. The new rules state that if you are registered as the owner in March, then that is the cutoff date. Neither him nor Textor met that deadline. And
Johnny, can you imagine the meltdown that Marinakis would have had he qualified for the Champions League, tried to get out of trouble, and then got demoted down to...
Correct.
That would be brutal, by the way.
He would have... If he'd have qualified, he would have been taken out. That would have been hysterical. Listen, you reap what you sow, and I don't think there's anything wrong with this deal at all with Morgan Gibbs-White. Look, there is the thing to say that CAA, with a close affiliation to Tottenham Hotspur and the amount of players and the deals, that maybe a conversation would have been had. But why shouldn't it? He's their player. And the player might have said, I want to move, and maybe notified Spurs that this clause could be activated. And by the way, we've spoken to Morgan Gibbs-White, and he'd be willing to come. So, okay, here we are. We've activated the clause. They've gone mad. I think personally, Sean, I don't know what you think. I think this is just for consumption for the home fans. This is to say we're up in arms. But, so because the Forest fans are in meltdown, understandably, selling Elanga and him. But he knows deep down there's nothing he can do about it. But he's trying to show a big thing. We're going to sue them. We're going to do everything in our power. But ultimately, they can't do anything.
Yeah. I mean, part of me, I think that's definitely part of it. Like just a show, put on a show kind of thing, make a big song and dance. The other half of me, I do actually think this guy is just an angry man. I think he's really angry and doesn't like not getting his look. He's a wired up fella who's made a lot of money, Greek shipping magnate. I can't find anywhere anyone that isn't saying that this guy is a bit of a crazy fella. And but look, for what it's worth, though, mate, he is universally adored by all. I've never seen an owner of a multi-club group that doesn't piss off a subsection of the fans. And I think this one, I've seen tweets from Nottingham Forest fan group saying we are a disgrace doing this, blah 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 blah. Us as in they think they're a disgrace, like they let themselves down. And I think part of the anger, like something, when you get when someone gets embarrassed about something and then they end up like
shouting, deflection.
Yep. Still there? Sorry. If he's like, I think he might be a little bit just angry because he's a little bit embarrassed by the sloppiness of whoever wrote that contract to have allowed it to get through. That he obviously wasn't aware of it, and he's now, probably opened up a room, spoke to the lawyers or the agent or whoever it is, and gone, who signed this? Who said this was okay? And then they probably go, no, it's not legit, And he's in the end, it looks like it's all going to be okay. Just quickly, I wanted to call out this because the Super Sticker train is marching on. I asked to see where Roy Viking's from. He's from a place called Senja in northern Norway. This is about an extra 300 miles north of Bodo, mate. So he's up in the island.
Bodo. We love Bodo. I got to tell you.
Really north of Bodo.
We've got to say we had such a fantastic time in Norway. The people were super, super friendly, apart from in the stand where we had to be. Sean and I were removed for our own safety. Other than that, it was everyone was super fantastic to us. People coming up to us in the street, and it was a fabulous place. Beautiful
place. Just quickly, Muscle Instinct is jumping on. We're going down the gym. The train's stopping off at the gym. Appreciate your Muscle Instinct with the super sticker, mate. Very, very cool of you. And to Tom Martin, we're going to Tom Martin's house as well. Woo! Very cool, mate. He looks like an 80s pop star, that man, with that icon on his picture. I don't know. Yeah. Definitely looks like someone in the 80s, late 80s, doing a never gonna give you up. I don't know why Tom Jones came out again there. Search bomb. Anyway, we got another super chat this time from Ross Pearlstone. Coys from Long Island, New York. Appreciate you, mate. Have a drink on us, fellas.
Love Long Island, buddy. Love Long Island. Thanks for tuning in from the States. What time is it there? About five hours behind?
Yep.
Yeah, maybe about 3 o'clock, 3:15 in the afternoon, maybe.
Thank you very much, mate. Enjoy your Friday afternoon, Friday evening. I know we certainly are. It's really hot here, but appreciate you, Ross. Thank you so much, mate. And Daniel Field, as always, coming in with a super sticker. There's never a train without Daniel Field being picked up along the route. Thank you very much, mate. Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate you all. Johnny, let's talk a little bit about Crystal. I don't know how much you spoke about.
I think we missed Destiny 5.
Did I miss Destiny 5 as well? Sorry, Destiny. I didn't see this one come in here. It's weird not being a mod, if you could, please. Oh, sorry, mate. Yeah, of course. I'll make you a mod. I'll make you a mod in 2 seconds, buddy. No worries. I've got to go out to the YouTube app for that. Give me 2 seconds, Destiny. I'll sort that out. Johnny, I don't know, when I disappeared to answer the door, did you talk about the noise that Crystal Palace has been?
No, we didn't talk about Crystal Palace yet. We hadn't moved our way for you to come back on that one. We were just talking about James McAtee and, what I thought about him as a replacement for Morgan Gibbs-White. I mean, he's 3 years younger. So, if you look at the players I was saying that have left Manchester City at a young age, nearly all of them have gone on to have very, very good careers. So, Tosin was another one. Tosin had a bio. Yeah, there's so many, Sean. You can actually make 2 11-a-side teams probably with them. Right, so Crystal Palace. Do we think that Crystal Palace, what's happened with John Textor? So John Textor was saying that when he went to buy Crystal Palace initially, he wanted to buy the whole shareholding. In fact, it was 75% he was looking to buy, but it was being held up by the league. And he was advised if he bought up 45%, the 45% could progress far quicker than the 75%. And he would be able to acquire that other 30% as time went on. So he took the advice and went and did the 45%. Unfortunately, due to his own naivety, he said that on TalkSport day before yesterday, it was a huge mistake. because he hasn't been able to acquire that extra money. And he was a bit damning of Steve Parish. He was saying that Steve Parish, in all essence, was only interested in survival, whilst he was interested in progressing the club. And he cited the fact of what he had done at Botafogo. Botafogo had been relegated, were on the verge of bankruptcy. He took them over, promoted them, took them out of bankruptcy. And as we saw them at the World Club Championships. They've had a fantastic time, earned a lot of money in that tournament, and just sold, they sold 2 players to Forest for £30 million through Edu, who's now their head of football for them and Olympiacos. And Armada is being sold to Benfica from Lyon, another one of John Textor's clubs. I don't know, Sean. I just think that this thing with Lyon, let's be honest, Lyon had committed far greater crimes than anything that Crystal Palace have done. And how did they get out of jail? They got out of jail by PSG trying to prop up the French league and giving them a whole load of money that was due for a Barcola transfer. But instead of paying it up over the period of time, which is 4 or 5 years, they gave the whole lot for them up front. And
that might have saved them from relegation. But I want to ask you this: if 2 teams qualify in the same season, is it based on? Do you know what it's based on? Who gets the? Why is it that Palace get hit and Lyon don't?
Well,
is it coefficients?
I think it might be coefficient, but listen, I just think it's disgraceful that Crystal Palace should have to suffer. Textor owns Lyon and he owns them. Lyon have got relegated due to financial irregularities, not paying, not meeting their requirements, and they've been warned twice. But the French league are in trouble and they can't afford for Lyon to be relegated. Therefore, they pushed them back up. And, where's the fine? How can you fine a club that doesn't have the money to pay its original players and all the financial costs that it needs to do now? So what's the point of fining them? The whole thing's sick and it stinks. And I'm not a Crystal Palace fan, but I think they've done enough to have earned playing in the Europa League this season. I really, really do. I mean, yes, they can play in the conference, and maybe there's an argument to be had that they're more likely to have a good chance of winning that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think that Palace or Villa would probably be the favourites, depending on what happens to Villa. We've got some news out about Villa. Obviously, we'll come to that in a minute. With regards to Ollie Watkins, we've got loads of other stories, guys. By the way, there's loads of stories that's been happening since this morning. Chelsea are back in for Mike Magnon, by the way. So we'll come to all that stuff. But just to finish off the Crystal Palace story, I can't find out. I just asked. I asked the internet. I asked Grok, and it didn't give me a clear answer. It just said that that Palace got booted out because of breaches of multi-club ownership. But surely the same breaches are applied by, like, Lyon have also broached or breached the same thing. Is it because he's a minority owner in that company versus he owns Lyon outright? If anyone can figure that out for us, I would. I'd love to know. Is that what it was? Was it Lyon's 6th place? So they qualified via the league, and Palace did it via the FA Cup. I'm not sure what the rules are.
Listen, the thing is, Lyon broke the rules in the French league, not once but twice. Textor said he's going to sort it. He didn't. They got relegated and miraculously reinstated. Why? Because the credibility right now of the French league is in tatters. There's no money. There's no TV deal. There's a TV deal for the Bundesliga. There's a TV deal for the Italian league, Spanish league, the Saudi league, Turkish league. Nothing for the French league. Think about how many players come through the French system, and how high French football is on the international stage, and then work out why is it? Because it's not competitive. It's just not competitive. Every single year, PSG break the rules in the French league. They get fined millions of pounds. They're happy. PSG just pay the fine, and everyone's happy. They don't have money from the TV deal, so they just get massive millions from charging PSG for a fine, and the circle continues. It's a farce. Crystal Palace should be in that tournament, you know? It's a technicality, but it's the rule. It is the rule. The rule states you cannot be a shareholder on that date. Does that mean, Sean, that maybe because that deal hasn't 100% been ratified yet with Willie Johnson, the New York Jets owner, taking over his shares, that maybe Textor will say, well, what's the point of me selling then? Or do you think he'll still go ahead?
Did I see something earlier saying it's been ratified? I'm sure I saw it on the last.
You might be right, because there's been so much going on in the last
day, like today or yesterday. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I saw it.
Yeah, it might have happened.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it has. I'm just saying. I thought I might have seen it on the last show. I think maybe someone put it into the chat. I can't really remember. Palace R, MXR KZY. That's a hard name to. I'm going to call you Merksy. I think from now on, mate. Merksy. I think Palace are definitely appealing it. And that obviously delays Nottingham Forest thing. It's interesting, mate, isn't it? Because these think that the appeals will take time, will take weeks. If you are Nottingham Forest and you're trying to replace Morgan Gibbs-White, or if you're trying to replace Anthony Elanga, and by the way, Graham Bailey, I love Graham Bailey. He puts out so much content. Absolutely adore him. His work. He's saying that apparently they got a bit of good news in that they've had a breakthrough in the Johan Bakayoko stalling
PSV
negotiations, but generally speaking, like it probably does play a part, right? Like if you're trying to pitch yourself to new players coming in and they don't know whether you're playing in the Europa League or the Conference League, and that it's like up in the air, there's an appeal going on here. Same for Crystal Palace. It makes it difficult because you're going to get a caliber of player at the level of Forest, at the level of Palace, that ability to draw in players that would only want to come if they're playing in Europe or in the Europa League, not playing against Wi-Fi passwords. Like that sort of thing is important. And so neither team currently knows, because there's an appeal going on. And how long will the appeal take? It will take at least 2 or 3 weeks, which again means some of the low-hanging fruit will be taken.
What about keeping players? You know, maybe a player like Eze could be enticed to stay for one more year if there's a Europa League as opposed to the Conference League, or Mateta, or Mark Gahey. I mean, Mark Gahey, I think will stay for one more year, run down his contract and leave, personally, unless Liverpool can come up with a mega deal. So everything's up in the air right now for Crystal Palace. And, I do kind of feel sorry for them, because their only crime as a fan base is to have an owner that has been trying to sell the shares for a long time, and he was still the shareholder in March, as opposed to just recently. So anyway, it is what it is. Let's move on to some less exciting news. Sean, Saudi Arabia been linked with Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, look, it's for the Tottenham fans. And by the way, there's 640 people in here. Obviously, it was going to be difficult to recreate the numbers of earlier on because that was just wild. But there's 640, which I think is still our second highest ever. So for such a small channel, we love it and we appreciate you. Please do smash the like if you're watching, hit the subscribe if you haven't. And we are now going to pivot to this. I've also got an updated Turkey segment for you later on. But Johnny, what is going on, mate? Walk us through what's going on with Saudi Arabia.
Look, we've spoken about this for a number of months. Those of you who know Sean and I would have heard us going on since the end of March when Carrington was brought on board. Former head of Citibank, Joe Lewis's personal banker, that he was being brought into the board to dress up the board for inward investment into the club. We know that Daniel Levy approached Rothschilds almost 2 years ago to acquire and get in investment for the capital-intensive projects that we didn't have the finance for, i.e. the hotel, the White Webs project and development for the women's football team, NFL, academy facilities, the extension to the medical centre, blah, 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 right?
Yep.
In comes Vinny. He came in, and another heavyweight, a guy who was at Arsenal for many, many years, who bought in the stadium naming rights, who bought in the Adidas shirt deal, who achieved a lot, the women's football team and the lots. But he had, when he left Arsenal, he was offered many, many jobs in private equity, top private equity companies, both in Saudi Arabia and in America. And he was offered a job at Newcastle, but he chose to come to Spurs. And for myself and for Sean, we've been saying there is money coming in. It's coming, but no one in their right mind would announce any money until after the transfer window closed. So it didn't come as a surprise to us, although we were ridiculed somewhat over the last few months when Matt Law said there is no money when he was on Last Word of Spurs, and Sean and I said we don't believe that at all. We felt kind of vindicated yesterday with a spend of £110 million. And then this news that's come in today through Ben Jacobs, who's a reliable source, that there is a potential £150 million cash injection from ENIC themselves, plus an up to £300 million injection. Now, we're not sure if it's naming rights, which is a distinct possibility, through Saudi. Now, whether or not that is one of the Saudi PIF companies, Saudi PIF, for those of you who don't know, is a Saudi private investment fund, which is a huge, huge company, an umbrella company with many, many companies throughout the world underneath that umbrella. And we know that they own Newcastle, 85% of Newcastle. And we also know that via Clear Lake Capital, the investment in Clear Lake Capital, they own a stake in Chelsea, although no one seems to question that, only Sean and I. And
I'm not questioning it anymore, mate, if we can get outside of that part.
No. Let's, we question it until it involves
that was last month. Forget about that.
That was last month. Now, bring on the money.
I've got a shipment of tea towels coming in next week, so I need to...
Yeah. So listen, we had the conversation. We had a theoretical conversation a few months ago, actually, before Charrington news, that we said that what would be ideal would be to take Daniel Levy away from the football running of the business and to take him to the things what he's good at. Like I said, the hotel development, the property development across the road from the stadium, which is still tied to the club, the White Webs development, maybe the NFL, the women's football team, the development of that. All of those projects are financial projects that he can deliver. He's more than capable. And then you leave someone else with a football background to deliver as CEO. We believe that, well, I certainly believe, speaking for Sean, that Vinny fits that bill absolutely perfectly. And let's be honest, I think we're going to get this money in because of those two heavyweights that are on that bill. They have fantastic credibility. That's why Donna Cullen stepped down. That's why there's been a lot of ball shuffles. And, I just will end with the fact that in 2019, we had a fantastic opportunity after making that Champions League final to go on to the next level. Unfortunately, Daniel, Pochettino asked for furniture and he didn't really get much. But what he did get was, unfortunately, put in the hands of Steve Hitchin, who managed to waste a serious amount of money on Dombele, Lo Celso, Ron Sessegnon and Jack Clark, all of which I don't think we got a single penny back for any of them. I think we got the most money back from Jack Clark of all of them combined. And we've gone down a slippery slope since then. And winning the Europa League, this felt like a perfect time now to take that investment and drive this club forward. And the stars seem to have aligned. There's the feel-good factor of winning the tournament, the feel-good factor of a new coach, who I rate very highly, the feel-good factor of being back in the Champions League, and now this news of inward investment allowing us to spend and take us to the next level. We have enough FFP and PSR headroom now, as we were saying to Connor before, to go and spend $400-500 million without breaking any rules. And you know what? We could even go
I'm not sure it's quite that much, but yeah.
Well, no, it's 300 million. It's probably around about 300 million. But don't worry, Sean, we can build a hotel and sell it back to ourselves.
Well, this is what might be coming. Plus the female team. It just feels to me. It feels to me it's felt to us, Johnny, for a long, long time that things were happening. You were all over the Cherrington thing for a long, long time. The stars were, like I say, Johnny and I mean, Johnny might be a bit of an ITK in other areas of football, but certainly I'm not. I don't know anyone or anything. But it does. I don't think you need to be an ITK. And to be entirely honest, the ITKs have got so much wrong in the Tottenham space over the last 2 or 3 months. It's quite ludicrous. I don't know why they're necessarily not
now, Sean, aren't they? It's funny how after. Sorry to interrupt you there, Sean, but it's funny how when we spent the £110 million, all of a sudden they all came out of the woodwork, said, we got money to spend. Whereas just a short while ago, they were saying the complete opposite.
Yeah, people like Matt Law. I mean, Paul O'Keefe got it wrong, saying that there's no... And I got no problem with Paul O'Keefe, no problem at all. I don't know why he's blocked me. So, like, on the basis of you blocking me, I'm going to call you out when you're wrong. That's how it works. That's the game. He said that that we're nowhere near the Kudus deal. 20 minutes later, the Kudus deal was done. So, it's... and the same with... And it was, there's certainly no chance of getting 2 deals done this week. Suddenly, 2 deals were done. So you have to... if you want to be... Not to make this about Tottenham or even to call out ITKs, but just generally speaking, you have to take everything you see with a pinch of salt. But when it comes to the investment side of things, like Johnny and I both got investment backgrounds, like you don't have to be a rocket scientist, nor do you have to be an ITK to be able to put 2 and 2 together. And it just it's joined up thinking of easy logic to sit there and think, but that all that happened back in December with the share issues to get through a momentary issue, then the NDA rumours. Then there was the rumours. Daniel Levy came out and said that they were looking for it 2 years ago. They've been talking about it. Then you had the Charrington. Then you had the Vinay. Then you had Donna Cullen going. Then you had the Vinay's first visual impression. His first act was to co-sign something right at the start of the window that said that our ambitions are to do things that would require a lot of money. Like, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to sit there and say these people are not idiots. They're not going to say these things and do all of these things and all of this news unless something's going on. And lo and behold, it is clearly going on. So ITK's in the mud. Jonny and Sean in the clouds. In the clouds. We're up there, mate. We're up there right now.
We look. I think but I think the thing is, Sean, that you and I have always looked at the intricacies of the finance. We try to look outside the box. And for me, Charrington coming in, I was in a fortunate position to know that he was Joe Lewis's private banker and the head of Citibank straight away. So for me, that the bells were on. Look, all I care about is us and the fan base, that we're going to get what we deserve. We are long-suffering. We are ridiculed so often in the press, and I'm hopeful that things are about to change for us. And if it is a naming right deal, and it could well be a naming right deal, because, as I said to you, Vinny's links to Saudi Arabia are strong. He's securing the Arsenal naming right deal. It could easily be that, but it could also be an acquisition of 10%. It could be both. It could be a 10% acquisition from a Saudi PIF, and it could potentially be, keeps it below the threshold of any conflict, but it will also enable one of the Saudi PIF companies, and there's many. There's airlines, there's oil companies. The list is endless. Go and have a look.
I personally, for what it's worth, again, just trying to use common sense here, I don't really see the point of Saudi Aramco being a stadium, unless it's just unless it's about an image-based branding rather than traditional B2C branding. I don't see the viability of it. Like, nobody in the UK who's not an investor or not working in oil would know or care or give a shit about Saudi Aramco. It's not like there's a Saudi Aramco petrol station at the end. They're just an oil producer, right? So they're not an oil trader. They're an oil producer.
It's probably
Riyadh Air would make a hell of a lot of sense. Airlines, global car companies, technology companies, those sorts of things, social media companies, shopping companies that are global, the Temu Stadium, whatever, that sort of stuff you can understand, global reach, B2C basis, and that don't necessarily have any relationship with any particular sport, so they can benefit from the people that would go to that stadium or see it on TV or in computer games, whether it's for Beyonce, for rugby, for football, for NFL, for whatever else. That's the kind of filtering process for logical business for me. But of course, if Saudi wanted to use it as a way to kind of to greenwash their own, like
he's locked up
oil
there.
or whatever, then there's that side to it as well. But
how about this one? How about naming it? This will go down well. The Manara Minerals Stadium. Minerals. There you go. That's topical.
Who's Manara Minerals? What's that? Is that a company?
No, Minerals. Yeah. Red Sea Global. No, I can't CH this. The THC Helicopter Company.
What are you searching up here? Biggest companies in Saudi Arabia?
I'm just looking at the myriad of companies who are under the umbrella of Saudi PIF. There's page after page after page after page of them.
Right.
And there'll be other companies that they are invested in overseas that we don't know. Look, I personally think, in all honesty, that it's a 10% investment. 300 million equates to 3 billion, which is roughly what we said we thought Tottenham Hotspur was worth, 3 to 3.5 billion potentially.
I'm at the top end of that. I think 3.5, 3.7 is what I think is what Daniel Levy wants 4.5, but like it's never going to happen. Just quickly, there's some super chats I want to get to, mate, and I'm going to move into we can finish off the Tottenham train, the Tottenham take. But we do have a lot of other stories to get to, and we don't want to bore you guys, so we're going to keep this story moving. Where do we get to? So Super Sticker, we've got Daniel Field Super Sticker. Thank you very much, mate. Spurs GCTV coming with a Super Sticker as well. Train running through Gloucestershire. Let's go over to Gloucester, get some apples, get some cider. You know me, mate. I love cider. Stay over there, mate. Get some cases for me on the next one. Roy Viken back in, right up north, mate. You got better internet than I have up there. If Crystal Palace were to play in the Conference League, there's a significant chance they could win the trophy. Yeah. Would that make them more successful than Arsenal? Yeah. 2 trophies in 2 seasons wouldn't be a bad one, would it? Yeah. I actually think the Crystal Palace, if they could keep their team together, obviously, we'll see what happens. But under Glasner in the Europa League, mate, he's got pedigree in that. If they could keep most of it, if they can keep Mateta, if they can keep Eze, if they can keep Gahey, they can keep that squad together. Especially if Villa are falling off a little bit, I don't think that it's beyond the realms of possibility that Palace could win the Europa League next season. I
definitely think.
What a story that would be! First time back in Europe in 40 years, and then win it at the first attempt.
If they do get demoted, I'd love to see Crystal Palace. I'll be rooting for them in that tournament for sure. In the Conference League. Yeah, 100%.
I got a soft, even though they're our South London rivals, I got a soft spot for them because they're a really good team. And Glasner's doing some really good things. Thank you very much, Roy. Daniel, we're going back to wherever you're from, Daniel. I still don't know where you live, mate, but the train is stopping off your place like 4 times a day. You must be like Woking Station or, like a hub. You must be like a hub.
He's the hub. He's the pass through. He's the connected line. Thanks very much, Daniel, mate. Love you, mate.
Appreciate you, mate. You're a legend. You're a legend, buddy. And Cat Funt, be careful how you say it, is in the house as well. Big up, boys. Loving life today. Yeah, mate, look, times are good at Tottenham. It's exciting times at Tottenham. Whatever the hell's going on at Tottenham, it certainly seems like things are on the up. And look, it was a terrible 2024 and most of 2025. And then from about April until now so far, Johnny, it's been an interesting ride, hasn't it, mate?
It's an interesting time. Look, I just want to ask, before we leave Tottenham, where do you think they are storing Morgan Gibbs-White? Do you think he's at the lodge? Do you think they put him in a Premier Inn somewhere, hiding him from Marinakis?
They sent him around Dominic Solanke's house because no one can tell the difference.
No one can tell the difference. Is that? No, I'm Dom Solanke. What are you talking about?
I'm not Morgan Gibbs-White. No, I'm Dom Solanke. Why are you talking with a Wolves accent? I'm Dom Solanke. That's all you need to know. I'm Dom Solanke.
They look very, very similar. They're very similar. Look, I don't think they can force him to go back to Nottingham Forest. Are they going to force him back to training? That's going to be an interesting one over the next 2 days. Are they going to fine him for failing to report back? I think this story's got some legs, but I don't think we're going to get any more clarity on it until maybe Monday.
No, I agree, mate. I agree. Let me get. Sorry, my Twitter's just frozen a little bit. My computer is like burning up. By the way, it's burning up. Let's get to some transfer news, views, and clues, mate, for us all.
Here we go. Newcastle have signed Alanga from Forest in a 55 million deal. He's signed. He's in the shirt. Just to rub salt into Nottingham Forest fans' wounds. He's been pictured in the shirt. Welcome to Newcastle. Long-term deal. Look,
interesting one, isn't it, mate? What do you make of Newcastle United's chances next season as their current squad? It looks like they're going to keep hold of Alex Isak, which is massively important for them. Anthony Gordon's apparently on Arsenal's radar if the Eze deal falls down, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he would leave. I think he's enjoying himself there. Darlington, Tonali, Alanga off the right hand side. They've got a wonderful team. They just need some more depth, don't they? Especially in the centre back spot.
Harvey Barnes, Jacob Murphy, good player. Look, I think they have been a bit unfortunate in some of the players they've been trying to get. They've been trying to get James Trafford from Burnley, the goalkeeper. That's been rebuffed quite a few times. They came in strong for João Pedro. They got knocked back on that one with their offers, and we all know where he's gone now to Chelsea. It's not for want of trying; they just haven't managed to get it over the line. How much of a draw is going to the northeast, Sean, at the moment? I mean, let's be honest. Sunderland have had no trouble. We didn't think that they would do massive business, but they've already done over £100 million worth of business. But the kick in the teeth for them, obviously, was the fact that they thought their homeboy was coming home, Jordan Henderson, only for him to do a very quick U-turn and end up at Brentford, which was a bit of a shock. But they're spending the money up there. Newcastle are struggling to spend the money at the moment. It sounds kind of crazy when you said they've just spent 60 million on Alanga. Is 60 million the new 25, 30 million?
Yeah, well, I certainly think that it's become, we spoke about this before, didn't we? This summer, at least, for the time being, it feels like anything sub 60, 55, 60 seems to be that you're getting a certain tier player. Anything above 65, you're getting the tier above, like the very best level. And that's what we were saying about this earlier, right? Like with Gyökeres, and for what it's worth, like this story's come out now. Ben Jacobs is saying that Sporting have told Gyökeres that they expect him back at pre-season training tomorrow, but he's refusing to go. I mean, I don't know what sort of message that sends. What does that tell you about professionalism, integrity, or is he right to do it if the club have shown no integrity and no professionalism with the way that they've spoken to him? We'll never know the ins and outs of what actually happened, Johnny, but Gyökeres, for me, I think Arsenal have probably screwed up here by playing the patient game. Patience is a virtue, not when it comes to Sporting, because in the intermittent period, you've seen what the precedent is. Alanga, Kudos, maybe less so for Gibbs-White because it was a release fee, but certainly João Pedro. These guys are 60 million. I'm still maintain that on that basis, Fernandes has every right to ask for more money.
I don't disagree with you. And, I think Arsenal, in conjunction with Gyökeres, are trying to pull a fast one, and he's having none of it. We saw that Gyökeres was willing to forsake £2 million of his own bonuses and what have you to try and make the deal happen. And Arsenal still weren't intent on paying the money. I think what it is here is that Arsenal are trying to do that many deals, and they're trying to balance off these payments so that they can manage to do all of the deals and structure them all over the 4 or 5 years, and yet they can't. Just quickly going backwards.
What sort of women, Adam? What sort of women are going for $1 million? Is that women footballers or something else?
Yeah, no, as the first woman footballer, he's talking about the first woman footballer that's just gone for £1 million, right?
Yeah.
My son's come in, Brandon, saying, going back to what we were talking about before, just quickly going backwards.
Yeah,
Aramco have sponsorship.
Oh wait, sorry, he's on the comments. Is he? Where is he?
840. Good point. Forgot about that.
Where are you, Brandon? What's his name on here?
Brandon Hamme. 8:40 p.m. There you go.
Hang on. Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate. Hi, Brandon. How you doing, buddy?
Right. So just saying, we were talking about sponsorship and names, and we couldn't think of one that was a Saudi company. And there's one there. Aramco.
Oh, that's a fair point. Okay, interesting.
So they are littered all around the Formula One circuits. So, I mean, they are an oil company, obviously.
Yeah,
so
great point.
It does make sense to link themselves to motor racing. Whether or not that will transpire and slide across to football.
Imagine if it turns out they're only sponsoring the Formula One circuit under the go-kart circuit underneath the stadium.
It's the Aramco go-kart F1. Yeah, it could be. Who knows? But good point,
though, Brandon. Appreciate you coming in, mate. Well done. Very good. Yeah, mate. Look, I mean, we came back on the Gokares story here. Do you think who's in the right, who's in the wrong? Do you think you should turn up to training and be professional?
100%. Look, unless the club turn around to you like they have, like Amarin has with Garnacho and Rashford, we do not want you at our training. We do not want you and your bad shit disrupting training. Stay over there. Don't bother coming back. Go and find yourself a club. I do wonder, though, whether Amarin is cutting off his nose to spite his face somewhat. But he must have his... Look, we're not privy to what's actually been going on. We said weeks ago, Sean, didn't we, that we think that he will end up Rashford at Barcelona. He'll end up going there on loan. Hansi Flick will love him. Perfect for Hansi Flick. What he did with Rafinha was playing out wide. When Xavi was there and it really wasn't happening, Hansi Flick's come in, moved him inside and rejuvenated the player. And I think he will do a really good job on Marcus Rashford if he can focus on his football. It makes sense. But as far as Garnacho's concerned, Thomas Frank had a no dickhead policy. Maybe other managers have got no dickhead policies and aren't willing to pay the high fee that they want for Garnacho because he seems to be tainted goods, not about his ability, but about his behaviour. So I'm not sure who's going to take a punt on him. Would you take a punt on him, Sean? I mean, we looked at those stats, didn't we? We looked at the stats, and if you took away his arsehole behaviour, his stats are superb, are they not?
Who's on that?
Garnacho.
Garnacho stats. I ran him through the Y-Scout 100 times. He came up in the top 5. I don't matter what filtering I did, whatever iteration I was looking for a left winger, for what I thought Tottenham would look for, and I think most wingers would look to be. It didn't matter what I changed. He was all that was the other 4 drop in and drop out. His name was always there in the last 12 months. His stats for a winger are very, very impressive. Very impressive. He's just a dickhead.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, this is what's stopping Man United doing the deal. But what I'm trying to say is, should Ruben Amorim be trying to convert the dickhead and have a word with him to try and bring him round to make him understand? Now, there was a rumour at the beginning, I think it was yesterday, that Garnacho was going to be allowed back into training. I don't know whether that's his agents were putting that out there. And then, lo and behold, next day, he's not going to be allowed back in. So I suggest they go on. I mean,
I think personally, he needs to go to get out of the Premier League. You know, personally, I don't know where he's going to end up. But at the moment, mate, it doesn't look like anyone's willing to pay the fee. Manchester United fans are really, really getting frustrated. Mark
Goldbridge yesterday was hysterical. Like the phone's going, Spurs are doing this deal. this one's doing that deal. And then he was going mad because Garnacho had been invited back into training. That was one of the things he was going mad about. It's not happening for them. It started so promisingly, signing Matheus Cunha, fantastic deal, £62.5 million, fantastic deal. Then they're linked to Brian and Mbeumo, and you're thinking, hello, they're doing some serious business already. They're early starters, but it's stuttered and stalled right now for them.
Where do you think they go next, mate? Like, are they going to get someone? Like, are they going to move on from Mbeumo? Because I think that Mbeumo is slightly too expensive for what they need, right? Like, obviously they don't have the money coming in. They're not willing to budge on it. There was those rumors that they can't go above the price that they paid for Cunha. I don't know if that's just a pride thing, if there's some sort of covenant that's making that the problem. Brentford increasingly are less likely to do it. If Brentford do sell Wissa to Forest, I'd be surprised if they were going to sell both of them, because I do think Brentford are going to get sucked into a potential relegation battle, and 10 years of progress can be written off in like one summer if they don't get this one right. So I'd love to see it. Even if this doesn't come to Tottenham, I'd love to, even though I'm not a fan of Marinakis and that. I think he's whatever.
Who was one of the, when you look at Manchester United last season, one of the most exciting players in that team, if you take out Garnacho, for me was Ahmad, right? And I'm trying to understand, why would you bring in Brian and Mbeumo to force Ahmad out? Unless I'm completely wrong and he's not playing, he's playing on the other flank. I'm sure.
No, Ahmad's a right winger.
Yeah. So, why would you? It's almost like a cock block here to bring in Mbeumo in. I know he's a young kid, but he was
strength in depth. That's what you always say to me about Tottenham, isn't it? Strength in depth, right?
Yeah, strength in depth. Yeah, but I'm saying if you haven't got the money, I mean, if you're asking me where do they need to spend it, I think they need to spend more of it in their defence. They need 100%. A new goalkeeper. They need a new centre back. Yoro's a very good player. They do have a couple of good, decent players at the back, but they desperately need a goalkeeper and another centre.
If they're playing a back three model next year, which is how Amarin plays, they 100% need another centre back that's better, and they 100% need a better goalkeeper. That is because strength in depth is great, but strength in your starting 11 is more important. And for me, if you have two players that are equally capable of starting at the right wing, but one of them's got to sit on the bench, and at the back you've got donutsandbozos.com that like you're playing Donut FC with holes in the middle. Like, I just think that there's a massive problem there. I don't understand the priorities of Manchester United. They right now they are so far away, Johnny, from the tight-knit, incredibly efficient, and almost insurpassable form that they were under Alex Ferguson for like 25 years. They are so far from that. They look like a sinking ship. Their stadium's falling in. Their owner is getting bad PR at every decision he makes. They're sacking people left and right. There's caviar in the dressing room, but they won't even pay the car park attendants. They sacked all of they took away the Christmas bonuses of the guys that lie on the floor in the pissing rain, in the sleet and the snow for £50 a game. They didn't want to pay for their staff to go to Bilbao. Obscene decisions left and right. Their manager does the most idiotic thing in the world and tells the footballing world that these 2-3 guys are just not welcome here, which is just playing into every negotiator's hands. And they don't even realise that their biggest weaknesses in their team are at the back, and they're trying to fix and play hardball with a club that don't want to sell because they're worried about relegation themselves. To me, it's idiocracy. It's like the lunatics are running the asylum at Manchester United right now. If I was a United fan, Johnny, I'd be slapping my head every 5 minutes.
I think, a lot of clubs, a lot of fans, they look at Man United or look at their fans and their club and they say, like, why aren't we spending the money? Why aren't we doing this? And why aren't we doing that? We should be up there spending 50, 60, 70 million pounds. You just got to look at Manchester United and be careful what you wish for, because here is a club that spent 80 million on this place, 70 million on that. Jadon Sancho, Højlund, Casemiro, Jadon Sancho. The list is endless. and put them on ludicrous wages. And now that stupidity and carelessness has cost them to the point now where they've got a ridiculously high wage bill. They've got players on long contracts, most of them, that they can't get rid of them. And there's only one player that's willing to take a pay cut, and that's Anthony, to get to Real Betis. The rest are just sat there. What are you going to do? You put me on a big contract, I'm not moving.
Yellow Dean, you say they're stacked in defence. I don't know what your definition of stacked is. It might be different to mine, but let's just have a look. Playing in a back three, Manchester United being stacked in defence. Let's just call out for a second here.
Euro is quality. Euro is
a good player. Yeah, he's a good player, right? Good player. Let's have a look. Centre back. Lenny Euro. Yeah, no problem there. Good player. Lisandro Martinez, always injured. He's injured at the moment. Mateus de Ligt is nothing like the player that he was supposed to be. He's got a gene in him. He's nowhere near the player that Manchester United need to have. Harry Maguire is better as a forward than a centre-back at times. What are we doing here? Aidan Heaven, 18-year-old, never even heard of him before. Tyler Fredrickson, who's been on loan, who's going back from loan. Luke Shaw is not like where is this stacked you're talking about at centre-back? Where are they stacked, Yella? Sorry, mate.
In the gonad section rather than the actual football section. I mean, I don't see the stacking there. And maybe
stacking.
There's no stacking, and there's no goalkeepers stacking as well. He's the guy that cost you in so many games, Onana. And, there's no way that he should have conceded the goal that we scored against him. Another bloody mistake. He's made so many of them.
Maguire is their best attacker, Luke. You're absolutely spot on, mate.
Listen, respect for Maguire because he's come back from the depths, I've
got a lot of respect for Harry Maguire. The amount of shit that he's taken in the public eye, and then he does pop up with a goal or two. Like, I was panicking that if United got to the final, if United were better form in the final in the last couple of minutes, and they were 1-0 down like they were, you throw in Harry Maguire into that kind of false nine role and see if he just bomb balls up to him. But Tottenham got it done because we're a bigger team, bigger club.
What the problem was, they gave Eric 10 months, a whole load of transfer kitty, big bucks. He bought a whole load of Dutch players. Most of them have not performed. You could go through them all, right? You can see them all. I'm not going to list them all, but you know them all. Then they think they're going to sack him. And what do? They did the opposite of what we did with Ange. Yeah, they gave him another contract, gave another big whack to spend, misplaced again. They're not going to get their money back for Højlund. They're not going to get their money back for De Ligt. They're not going to get their money back for Anthony or the other players. Any of them. No.
Not the only people that are cash positive for them are players that came through their youth academy.
Well, the thing that kicked them in the teeth for buying the players was, hoping that Bruno Fernandes was going to say yes to Saudi Arabia. That was a kick in the teeth when they said no. And of course, Chelsea quite happy to pay the £5 million fine for not taking Jadon Sancho rather than pay the 25 million purchase fee. So it is what it is. Let's move on from Man United.
Yeah, we've got some super chats. Some more. We've got to get this train going towards other places. Choo choo! The super sticker train carries on. Steve T, appreciate you, mate. Wherever you are, we're coming to pick you up, buddy. We're coming to pick you up. It's going to be awesome. There's a bomber.
We got bomber.
Fabrizio Romano, PSV Eindhoven. I'll come back to that in 1 second and we get the super chats done.
We know who that is.
Steve T's, thank you very much, Steve. Really appreciate you. The Bears, we're back to the cave. We're going back to the cave. Love to see it. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate you, mate. Daniel Field. This is Woking Junction. This is Clapham Junction, actually, with Daniel Field. You are. Every train goes through Daniel Field in Essex, mate. Appreciate you, buddy. Thank you very much indeed. And we got Straffen Joe as well. Good to see you, Straffen Joe. You must be over in Ireland or somewhere with the Euro sticker there. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate you guys. Keep the train coming. And we are going to save up some pennies here and try and get a lovely little pretty girl for us to make the stream look a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. Jonny, there is a story, a bomber here, well, not a bomber necessarily, but a Romano update. PSV Eindhoven are set to sell Johan Bakayoko as they've received 5 approaches for the winger. We know that Forest are one for sure. Tottenham Hotspur might be another one. We've been linked with him before. There's probably at least 2 or 3 more in the Premier League there that are looking around. Brentford might be one to replace. I think Brentford actually were.
Brentford were interested this morning. Yeah. Brentford were interested this morning. I'm just trying to find the deals that were on this morning for Bakayoko.
Oh, he's listed the 5 apparently. He's listed the 5.
Go on. What are the 5 he's listed? I gave you 2 of them this morning for sure.
Yeah, hang on. Let's have a look. See what are we doing there? The 5 that he's listed are Leipzig, Leverkusen, Everton, Forest, and Bournemouth have all called to open discussions.
Yeah,
no Brentford. Interesting. Which one of those 5 teams? Which one do you think he makes the most sense? Leverkusen, who's he going to replace at Leverkusen? He's replacing obviously Florian Wirtz.
I think we'll go to buy Leverkusen. That was my thing this morning. In this morning's chat, I think he was going to buy Leverkusen. They've sold a lot of players. Makes sense there. You're dealing with a top team there. Or Everton, a top team. They'll do well under Moyes for sure. But looking at
there's an absolute monster at Leverkusen that hasn't been stolen yet, and I really, really want to see him come to the Premier League. Ezequiel Palacios.
Well, mine's Hincapié. I wanted him for about
him as well. Yeah,
last World Cup. Quality left centre back, Ecuadorian left centre back, left back. But this guy's also a top guy. But they can't afford to sell any more players. We spoke about when we first started the channel a couple of months ago, Sean, about clubs who were losing players hand over fist. Rennes, Bayer Leverkusen, Bournemouth. I think they're trying to restock now with the sales now, especially with the Florian Wirtz money. I think he will end up. Bakayoko will go to Bayer Leverkusen. Can you see them selling this guy?
To Eindhoven?
Yeah, can you see him selling him to Forest?
Look, I'd love to see him in the Premier League. I think it'd be really exciting. I think he's got a lot about him. We had a really disappointing, like the season before last, he was unbelievable. Last season, not so great. I don't know what his valuation is going to be. Oh, it says 20 million euros. I mean, 20 million euros, that would suggest that he's like tier 4. If tier 1 is like, 80, 90 and above, tier 2 seems to be 55 to 65.
Oh, Sean is frozen again. I
Sorry,
think
I drop out did I? Sorry.
Yeah, you just dropped out for a bit. You're fine.
I was just saying, like, I feel like there's 4 tiers probably, or 5 tiers in the kind of transfer market price range. If sort of the tier 1 is like 70, 80 million and above, tier 2 is 55 to 65, which is where Tottenham are fishing at the moment, and a few others. Tier 3 seems to be about 40, 45 million. There's a few of those knocking about. If he's at 20 million euros, that's like we're saying we're parking him down in the Sunderland level kind of category. He's so much better than that.
Well, this is what I'm saying, Sean. It's all very clever to go out and spend 50, 60 million pound on these name players that you just think, well, 100%. But it's finding players like my son, for example. He's got a whole list of players that he gave me at the start of the season. And I know a lot of players, but some of those on his list I hadn't heard of. And he had players last year and the year before, which have gone on to become good players. Now, what I'm trying to say here is you don't necessarily need, yes, you do need your 50, 60 million pound players to keep the fans on their toes. But sometimes the 17, 20 million pound signings can be just as good. Destiny Udogie, 15 million. Papa Sarr, 12 million. Rodrigo Bentancur, 17 million. It's not always about spending massive amounts of money. Johan Visser, 7 million. Yeah, for Brentford. So sometimes you can be smart, and I think we get sort of sidetracked for the big show signings for the big bucks. I think you need to mix them up with some value signings, and he definitely is one for 20 million plus add-ons. I think it's a good value. I think he can be a bit inconsistent. Would be my only.
He's kind of like he's a great take-on guy, fast, pacey, tricky. When he's up for it, capable of doing brilliant things. But for me, I still park him in that. I've always said that, like, you know, he plays in a position on the right, but the left winger spot is probably the most oversaturated position in football, of talented people that can do a fast feet, fast acceleration, quick top speed.
I'm gonna have to. He's going to put the money in the box. I think the train might have left the station. We might have to buy him a new Wi-Fi unit.
Yeah, I know what's going on. I think my computer's overheating, but it's the most oversaturated position in football. Take on specialists, but whether they have the ability to look up and find the pass at the right time is what differentiates the good from the very, very good.
Well, you say that, Sean. So, you know, Spurs have just gone and spent, 55 million on Kudos, who has the second most successful take-ons in the whole of Europe, apart from Levy Mal. And yet he's got 3 assists, which shows quite clearly that he's not the finished article. He doesn't pick his head up enough. And he's a rough diamond that Thomas Frank is going to have to polish up. The same with Matthias Tell and with Morgan Gibbs-White as well. He needs to sort his finishing out. So, sometimes you can buy a rough diamond for reasonable money and polish them up. And sometimes you've got to pay big bucks for an unfinished product. I think one of the best ones, from a Spurs point of view, has got to be Lucas Bergvall at only 8 million.
Well, 100%, mate. But there is actually another story that's just dropped from Florian Plettenberg. Burnley are actually at it again. Full agreement with Stuttgart for 4 million euros for a player called Jacob Brun Larsen, who is. Sorry?
Wasn't he at Burnley the last time they were in the Premier League on loan?
I think he's become a permanent. I think you're right. He has. I think he's been on loan with. And let me have a look at. I'm looking at him right now. So he said loads of loan deals. This guy, he went. He was at Hoffenheim.
I think he scored about 5 or 6 goals the last time they were there under Dyche. Am I wrong? I might be wrong.
He went from Hoffenheim to Burnley on loan in 2023.
Was it under?
And then he went back, and then he went to Stuttgart last season. He's now just he's gone back to where he came from. You're right. He's gone back to Burnley on a full-time deal for 4 million euros. That's as of today. Congratulations to him. Burnley not really moving with the same sort of energy as Sunderland or Leeds, mate. Do you think Burnley are accepting their fate a little bit, or do you think that they're trying, but they just don't have the necessary the kind of funds, and they need the money?
I think Scott Parker has built a defensive unit. We saw that in the Championship. They were very, very hard to break down. I think he'll try to keep the vast majority of that team together. There were a few clubs linked with the wing, the left back. Was it the left back? I keep forgetting his name now. The French player, Trevi.
Where? Sorry,
Burnley. The left side
Burnley
back. Yeah, there were a few people linked with him. Anyway, my point here is, I think they're going to be okay, sort of defensively. They had a very, very good defensive record in the Championship. I think it's the midfield and attack they're going to need to address. And I might be wrong, but I'm sure this guy was there under company and scored 5-6 goals max, which isn't really going to get him out of any trouble whatsoever. I think it's almost certain that Scott Parker will come with a low block, packed out, probably one up front.
I've still got Luca Kogliosho, who's a player I always used to reference. He's a left winger. I always used to reference him and said he was one of these guys who, when Burnley in the last iteration of Burnley in the Premier League, he was a guy that had this take on stuff. Right? But he didn't have the ability to look up. I think he scored a goal or got an assist or something against us. Really good player, and he's back in the Prem. So I look forward to seeing him, seeing how he develops. I can't remember the left back you're talking about, to be honest.
Guys, if you're in the chat and you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button. It helps the algorithm. And if you're here for the first time drifting over, please hit the subscribe button and let us know where you're from and what club you support. Obviously, we started off as a lot of Spurs fans here, but now we're pulling out from fans from all over, and long may it continue. Thanks for your support, guys. Appreciate it.
100%, mate. Just a quick one from this is from Saudi. We got to do the Turkey segment of the show before we finish off. But Al Hilal are in discussions with Fiorentina over the signing of Moise Kean. Mate, I love a bit of Moise Kean, the more developed version of him. Going to Turkey, though, or going to Saudi Arabia, though, what's your thoughts? He's such a good player, mate. He's such a good player these days. I'd love to see him back in the Prem.
Listen, I think it's a conundrum for some of these players. You know, do they keep journeying through Europe, or do they go to Saudi Arabia, get as much gold as they can eat, stay there for 6 months to a year, and find their way back? We haven't seen as yet any crazy John Duran sort of moves. £72 million goes out to Saudi Arabia, and 6 months later he's off to Turkey. I think we should queue. Let's do the super chats, Sean. The more super chats, and then let's go to Turkey. He's frozen again.
Sorry, mate. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. We're all here. We're all here waiting.
All right, sorry, I don't know what's going on. Let's do the Turkey segment of the show, shall we?
Oh, let's do the Turkey section, then go to the super chats. Here we go.
This is the Turkey segment. The Turkey segment of the show.
I had to update it because I couldn't stand having to do the copyright shit all the time after the shows. It took me like an extra 40 minutes or whatever to go and get all that stuff done. That was the Turkey segment of the show, and that's the video for it. And mate, the story's out tonight. Fenerbahce, apparently Leonardo Trossard have agreed a move to Fenerbahce.
On loan, Sean? Another loan? Or
it doesn't say. It doesn't. I'm looking at goal.com. It doesn't say yet. Let's have a look. Is it on loan? Trossard is all set to begin the next chapter. The Sun report the Arsenal has agreed a shot move. They're determined to bolster their attack. There they are. He's done the pecking order. It doesn't actually say whether it's on loan or not, to be honest. It just says that they've agreed a deal. At the moment, I can't see any details. But Leon, he's a good player, mate, isn't he? Like, why is he going to Fenerbahce? This is just the new thing, isn't it? Turkish football is the new place to be, right?
I don't know where they're getting all the money. I really don't. Even the second division teams, they seem to be going there. We did Malik Wilkes and Clark from Rotherham, the two of them. We've seen Tammy Abrahams go. Victor Osimhen. I'm not sure that Victor Osimhen deal is going to get done for Napoli, and that's going to frustrate Napoli no end. They tried to get him off to Al Hilal. He didn't want to go. Turkey, Galatasaray are desperate to try and do the deal, but they just don't have the 75 million euros that they're demanding for him. So they're trying to pay over 5 years. That's absolutely of no use to Napoli, who want to use that money to buy Darwin Núñez. And then Liverpool want to use that money to buy Ekitike. So I nearly got it. I nearly lost it. Nearly lost it. So this is like a crucial one out in Turkey that's going to set a whole domino effect off. We've got Walker Peters, if you didn't hear this morning. He looks like he's going to Turkey. Besiktas. And there was another one as well this morning.
KAA Ghent star Archie Brown is also flown to Istanbul to complete his transfer to Fenerbahce. And PSG forward Marco Asensio is also set to join Fenerbahce.
I mean, honestly, it's like...
what are we doing here, mate?
I don't know. Turkey has come
hang about. Just quickly. Fenerbahce eyes Chobani. Chobani, don't they make yogurts?
Chobani.
I think they do. I'm pretty sure they do make yogurts. But it's that there's the main shirt sponsorship agreement with Chobani, the US-based food brand. 100%. I knew it. They do make those yogurts. And apparently Fenerbahce is lining up a stadium and main shirt. This has just come out. Fenerbahce is lining up a new stadium and main shirt sponsorship agreement with Chobani. Mate, this is an American company, right? We were talking about this, the conspiracy theory, the tinfoil hat stuff. We were talking about the fact that American money is getting siphoned into Saudi and then back into Turkey, and then it's a way to get the money back into Europe through tax-efficient methods. Fucking Barney, a yogurt company, is going to the Barney Arena. What are we doing here? Am I losing my mind, Johnny? No, am I losing my mind here, bro? We're right again. We're right.
They're going to be sat there before the games, chewing, on a yogurt. I mean, I hope he's not going to do any of that Johan Lang gooey, sticky stuff. The way he described Lucas Bergvall. Do you remember? I can't believe it. We've been talking about this money washing. We think money is coming from America into Saudi Arabia. Into Saudi Arabia, and then Saudi Arabia back into Turkey. We've seen, look at the investment companies that are private investment companies that are involved with the Turkish companies, and all of a sudden, a place in Turkey which used to normally pick up most of their transfer deals after the market closed is because they get a 1 week extra because they say they're based in Asia, on the other side of the Bosphorus. So they get a week's extension. And normally that's where they exploit all the clubs that haven't managed to get rid of their players, Sean. But
Johnny, the footballers are now the drug mules of the 80s, 90s and noughties. This is just a giant money laundering operation. And I'm all on board it. As long as Tottenham can benefit, I don't mind. I'll park my frustrations. But this is Barney being the new shirt sponsor and stadium sponsor, American money filtering through into a wash. What is going on here, mate? What is going on here?
Let's do the super chats, Sean.
Or just to round it off, that was the Turkey segment, guys.
This is the Turkey segment. The Turkey segment of the show.
There you go. That was the Turkey segment. Bringing to you. We have other segments we're going to be bringing every single day. Where do we get to on the super sticker train? I think Straffan Joe was the last one. As we got Morton Barley. He's saying Galway Guinness Express train coming through. Appreciate you, Mort. Okay,
Galway Guinness. Galway Guinness. I'm sure that's a fine pint. That one.
Oh, I bet it's the best.
Version to Bournemouth for Cat Fun.
Well done, Cat Fun. Diversion to Bournemouth. Nice little junction down there. And then the ride to N17.
Can anyone pick him up on the train from Bournemouth to N17?
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. Appreciate you, Cat Fun. The True Train is carrying on. Where are we going next? In all my years of supporting Spurs, things have never felt so positive, says Kieran Dallas. Good to see you, Kieran. I think you're a UK man.
I hope you are in Dallas, Texas, enjoying...
No, he's in the UK. He's got a pound sign.
Oh, is he? Kieran Dallas.
It's good times, good time. We're going to round off in the last segment of the show is I want to talk to Johnny a little bit here about Tottenham signings because there are some rumours out tonight that Tottenham are very much looking at Douglas Luiz and
Adam Wharton.
Adam Wharton, but also João Palhinha. João Palhinha seems to be the hottest one of the three, to be entirely honest. Talk about that in just a second. Steve T, I'm down the road in Egham. And you're down the road in Egham. Oh, mate, you're about 5 minutes from me. 10 minutes. Good to see you, Steve. I hope you're not following me, buddy. But, mate, lovely part of the world.
Outside your house. Look out your window now and give him a wave.
Steve, I used to spend every Wednesday night at the Monkey's Forehead pub in Englefield Green, mate, which is just up the road. Let me know if you know of it. The Monkey's Forehead. It was an amazing bar. It was right across the road. It was the only local bar. There is a university in Egham, I forget the name of it, but it's like one of their rural campuses or whatever. And that was the only local bar in Englefield Green. And so on a Wednesday night, 18, 19-year-old Sean would be down there trying to chirps up some 21-year-old medical students or whatever they were doing down there. Absolutely sensational stuff. I love the Monkey's Forehead. Brilliant place. Johnny, let's finish up with Tottenham. João Palhinha seems to be the name that's being banded around a little bit more vociferously than Adam Wharton at this stage. Adam Wharton would cost a fortune to get him out of there, but maybe with the money that Crystal Palace might lose from not participating in the Europa League, maybe they need to make a bit of make some tough decisions. But what do you think about? Would you still like João Palhinha to come to Tottenham?
I still got this sneaking suspicion somewhere in the back of my mind that Don Fabio has been extremely quiet. We've seen him in a couple of airports with the customary earpiece. We're trying to get rid of Bissouma, and we know Douglas Luiz is at Juventus, and we know that they like Douglas Luiz. They like Bissouma, and they don't have lots of money. Could we be doing a swap? Would a swap deal benefit both teams?
Yeah, I think so.
Exchanged.
Well, there'd probably be some money exchanged, but it'd be negligent, wouldn't it?
Look, we know that Juventus right now are looking to get rid of the Vlahovic deal, thinking about cancelling his contract. We also know they're desperate to sign Kolo Muani, but they haven't got the money.
Correct.
It was originally 85 million. They paid a 3.6 million euro loan for him from PSG. Now PSG are saying that they're willing to take, it was 50 million euros, right? Which is about 40 odd million pounds. Right.
Yeah, so cheap.
Yeah, for me, that is the best deal right now, the best attacking deal in Europe right at this moment, in my opinion, is Kolo Muani. I think they need to get players off their books. Maybe they'd be willing to do this deal. Spurs pay a small fee. Suppose I'm going to take less than 20 million for Bissouma. No chance.
One he left on his contract.
Yeah, 20 million.
I don't think he's worth 20. I think he's worth 10.
Well, they're not going to take 10 million. They're not going to take 10 million. 15.
I don't know, mate. He's amortized down to next to nothing, right?
Yeah, but you're right. But look, they got 17 million for Pierre Højbjerg. Maybe there's a chance that they allow him to go do what Højbjerg did, go out on loan for 1 year with the payment, with an obligation. So they goes out for a loan, say £3 million loan, and at the end of the loan period, they pay.
Well, just pay us next year, you mean? Just basically pay us next year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like they did with the Højbjerg deal to Marseille. So maybe that's one way of doing it. So I listen, if money was no object, Adam Walton, but I've been a big fan of Douglas Luiz. Palhinha, I love, but I just wonder the way that Thomas Frank plays, has he got the legs to get around? I'm a huge fan of his. I think I'd just rather take maybe the slightly younger Douglas Luiz. There's question marks about him as well. He had injuries last season. So I don't know. Who would you take out? I mean, obviously Walton probably be our first choice.
Yeah. Of the other two, I think, look, if Morgan Gibbs-White, I think Morgan Gibbs-White will probably be a better 8 than a 10.
He's an 8 for me.
Yeah, and so on that basis, I don't think you necessarily need Douglas Luiz. But then at the same time, you make a very strong argument when you're always saying about, the big teams don't worry about having strength in depth. I think that if you've got a Morgan Gibbs-White that's going to play in the 8, and you've already got Bergvall, you've already got Bentancur, unless Bentancur's out the door as well, by the way, and I don't know, he hasn't signed a new contract yet. I know you don't think that he will be, and I tend to agree. I think he'll stay, but I don't mind if he does go. But I don't mind him leaving. If we're trying to get to the next level, I think Douglas Luiz is a better player than Bentancur. I think Morgan Gibbs-White is better in the 8 than the 10, but he'll play in the 10 initially because Madders and Decky are both injured. On that basis, if you're trying to get a midfielder and it isn't Adam Wharton or it isn't someone else, if it's just on those 3, for me, I think Palhinha would give you the most unique value that isn't kind of already occupied by the value that some of the others present. What about Pape Sarr, by the way? Where does he fit into all this? I think he gets relegated quite far down. Unique value, but not really. He's not really a pecking order player.
I think he's got great legs, and I think Thomas Frank will like those legs. Not like the legs like that, but I think he'll like the energy he's got. He's been putting a lot of work in pre-season. Why don't you ask the people in the chat, right? So guys in the chat, there's over 600 of you in the chat. Let's rule out Adam Walton because right now he's the big much. Let's have 1 for Douglas Luiz, 2 for Paulinho. So hit the 1s and 2s. 1 for Douglas Luiz and 2 for Paulinho. Let's see what you say.
Yeah.
What the majority is. So 1 for Douglas Luiz, 2 for Paulinho. And let's see. Douglas Luiz, Paulinho. Yeah. Oh, it's quite close at the moment.
Still is a class player. I like Still. He's a good player. 1-1-1, 2-2, 1-2. Yeah, but about evens really.
Yeah, it's
I'm just thinking like I love both players. It's just really around like where's the unique kind of the unique interest in it. What I would say, mate, is it's a lovely headache to have, isn't it? If Tottenham suddenly have got money, and we can go and get one. I mean, Hugo Larsson's still on the cards, maybe.
Well, we're a big fan, aren't we? I mean, look,
love Hugo Larsson, yeah.
Listen, at one stage, I think some stage last season, we were linked with Yao Gomez, and the Wolves number 6. That's gone very quiet. Look, I think that Don Fabio is out there somewhere. I'm not sure whether he's doing, like we spoke about De Vinter at what do you call it? At the Italian team.
Genoa,
yeah, at Genoa. The centre back, he gives me sort of Jan Vertonghen, Toby Alderweireld vibes. I know he's Belgian, but he's mobile. He's a good player. 22, used to be at Juventus. And Douglas Luiz is at Juventus. I just think he's been very, very quiet, Fabio.
Yeah.
What's he up to?
When's his oh, hang on, just quickly. Galatasaray have made another new offer for Osimhen.
Yeah. 40
million up front and 35 million in installments. Fucking hell. 40 million euros up front and 35 million over a period of time.
That's massive for them. That's
huge, mate. Huge. That Saudi money gets everywhere, doesn't it? Eh? That Saudi money makes its way across the.
We borrow some money. Hi guys, is that Saudi? Yeah. Is it possible we could borrow a few bob? Yeah, I think they're financing the players. Someone could explain to me, John Duran, 72 million out to Al Hilal, and then suddenly making a swift exit out the door 6 months later.
Oh my! Hang on, sorry, mate. I've got to show you this. Listen, look at this for a story. Archie Brown, right? This guy from Ghent.
Are we going back to the Turkey?
They're just AC Milan have now sent a private jet for the fullback at Brussels Airport as they hope to agree personal terms. Fenerbahce had also sent a private jet. I have to get a grok. I have to respond and get grok to put me up with a picture of Archie Brown with like 17 private jets. Pick one.
Which one do you want?
That's insane. He's got more private jets than Arsenal have trophies.
And what happened to that's unbelievable. What happened to our guy, Arman Dashwari?
He's going to Milan as well. Still going to Milan,
They still haven't agreed the fee.
No, that's true, yeah.
On 40 million euros. They've offered 30 million.
Imagine that. Imagine the agent going, hello, is that AC Milan? Yeah, I just want to let you know that Fenerbahce has sent a jet. They've sent a jet. I'll send a bigger jet. I will send you went there. I will send you a bigger jet. And then fucking you got 2 jets coming down. Which one am I going to get on? Imagine if they got the wrong directions.
The one with
That's really insane.
I think it will be down to the stewardess that jumps out of the plane and entices him on board, I guess.
Oh yeah. This is why you need a super sticker train, because you can afford to get some better looking air hostesses on. What are we doing here?
They're definitely up to something down in Turkey. I love the Turkey section. Guys, if you can suggest some other sections that we're going to have various sections we're going to introduce as the season goes on. Should we still have a Turkey section once the season gets going, and we can bring them you Fenerbahce, Besiktas, And
Yeah,
go,
only if it's if it needs. Yeah. This is a club. This is a club. They only send an 8-seater. They only send an 8-seater jet. I need something big. Yeah, mate. Well, listen, I'll knock up a few more of those or short video segments, and we will. Sean, your Welsh is improving daily.
I'm wondering whether you're Italian. It's more Welsh.
Have you seen that jet over there in the Brussels airport? This mega, isn't it? Like proper jet, proper.
When you been? He says, I've been up on the hill. Up on the hill. He says, yeah, I've been up on the hill and down in the valley with Gwyneth. Yeah. Listen,
guys, perfect time to round it off. We're going for 90 minutes.
Guys, hit the like button if you're here and you haven't. It's good housekeeping on your way out. You can put your shoes back on, hit the like button. And if you're here for the first time, guys, hit the subscribe button. A little bit of indigestion there to finish. And if you're listening on audio and wonder what the hell's been going on, but you still enjoyed yourself, please hit the follow, hit the 5-star review button. And,
the Botswana accent. What is this? What is this private jet? This is not big enough. We're getting cancelled, Johnny.
And we are cancelled. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow morning. See you tomorrow afternoon. Whenever, at some point between 9 and 9, we are back.
Read my cap, guys. Read my cap. Put it on.
Good things take slightly longer when you're dealing with Marinakis.
Take care, guys. Take care. And it's goodbye from me.
And it's very much goodbye from him. See you tomorrow, guys. Take it easy. Bye-bye.